Damn it. Nobody has time to come in.
Well, just wait. We'll have it open. You can go do what you need to do.
You already went live.
Yeah.
Right, so you're talking.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I don't know. See if I can see it on here. Yep, there you go. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Flexibility, part of homesteading.
Flexibility. I figured if somebody's sitting there waiting for us, then they can jump on.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Grumpy Acres.
You don't need to do that. Just wait till somebody comes on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's Starla.
There's
hey, Starla. We'll just go ahead and wait and see. I know G had to schedule a few things, Starla, so we were trying to deal with some other business and try to get that stuff done, and got a little perplexed with looking at, we had software loading, so got that one figured out. And so now here we are.
plus we're amateurs.
There's that. So
did you have a good day?
Hey, Starla, I want to tell you, so when we were at the Doug and Stacey, off-grid with Doug and Stacey with that Homestead conference, that was awesome that you saw the short and you were able to comment on that. And yes, that was William. And so Permapasture Farm. So we were just kind of going in there. We got to hang out with them for the weekend, went to dinner. I think we did dinner. Yeah, was it 2 nights? And we kind of, oh, hey, Patty. And so, yeah.
Can you guys hear us?
Patty ate Mexican.
And she liked it too.
Yeah. That was amazing. So what happened?
Well, I hope everything's okay. I mean, of course. Here,
oh my goodness.
Hold down the fort. I'm gonna get
Starla, we'll make sure that we send you some prayers out your way for sure. I'm so sorry to hear that. That just, oh man. Wish that we could kind of figure out exactly, prayers are awesome. And so when we pray, I was actually just talking to some neighbors of ours. Their kiddos watched our house and did an amazing job with that. And we were actually talking about the power of prayer when we came through. This is the first time, and you may hear us repeat that a little bit. This is the first time that we actually went and did something, not necessarily for ourselves, but just to connect with other homesteaders and see what was going on and how to do a few things as far as maybe advancing the business and making money off the homestead, that kind of thing. And this is the first time we've left in a long time.
Well, in the last 6 years, this is the second time we've been away from home overnight for 2 nights in a row or more.
And the good news is not one animal died. Usually animals die when we leave.
This is true. Yes, they do, honey, don't they?
They do. So, but anyway, yeah, we didn't get home until, it was almost 2 o'clock this morning. And I slept a little bit, and then because the sleeping schedule was so off and I didn't get much sleep while I was gone, not being able to be in my bed, of course. And then I come to find out I'm very much a country girl. So I could hear every semi truck that went by. I could hear the doors in the motel opening and shutting. I could hear people talking. I could hear people doing not bad things, but skidding out with their cars and the muscle cars and all of that. It was a nightmare, but I was not the only one. So that was good to know.
No, the tomatoes were awesome, weren't they?
Yeah. So yeah, the tomatoes, I couldn't believe it. And the kids were like, it was really hot and we didn't really do our garden 30 because we knew that you had said not to pull some weeds because you had a lot of stuff going out there. And remember, we've had a lot of volunteer plants. So you really need to know what you're identifying and know what to pull, what not to pull. It's kind of a hot mess right now, like the asparagus in the driveway and pumpkins and summer squash and winter squash everywhere in the driveway. So it really is a mess. So the kids got a little nervous, but they did great with as far as the grapevines and all of that.
We can do that, Starla.
Yeah, of course.
Patty, did you guys sleep late this morning?
Yeah, they're usually coffee at 8 o'clock and then out feeding the animals.
Well, I was up at 6 o'clock and made it to work by 8:30.
I did get some sanding done in the room, so I think I should have that knocked out tomorrow and start painting. Oh my gosh, what's today? Tuesday. I'll start painting on Thursday. So, and then we'll take care of the trim. So I need a list for lumber so I can go pick all that stuff up.
Okay.
Yeah.
She wants to know where you got the shorts.
Oh, you know what? It's so funny. So kind of, especially after we came into homesteading and I decided to give up real estate.
Hey, Tiger.
I'm a definite bargain hunter. And a friend of mine called me and she said, I know that, you're not going to like this, but here's the deal. So the local Walmart, they started clearancing everything out and they had shorts in there and she started sending me some pictures and they were marked down to $4 per short. And so I found those at Walmart, but there's a story behind that. So what I found out was that even though there's a sign on there that says $4 per, short, if the tag is still on there and it says the little sticker, it says $10 at our Walmart anyway. If it's $10 and you're at the register and you go, no, those are on clearance for $4, and you could have two of the same style shorts. And I did. And I said, no, those are only $4. And she said, nope, whatever the sticker price is what it is. And I said, how does that happen? And you have a sign up there. And so folks, basically customer service is not what it used to be. They were literally told by management, the price is what it is.
So Patty said they're down to 18. Did you have one die, Patty?
Right. Or did Daniel actually find one?
Yeah. Or were there only 18 there to begin with?
So funny story, guys. And so when we were at the homesteading conference, we drove down with Patty and Darren from Hacks for the Homesteader, and they had called their son. It was the first night. It was Saturday night. And a female turkey just showed up. He wasn't getting a count of 18. He was getting a count of 19. So the big joke was that our Teddy, which they had originally gave us, maybe found her way back home. And so we really don't think that happened, but it was a funny joke. And so he was counting 19. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Oh, she answered back there.
They're being all techno savvy up there on Hacks from the Homestead.
Oh yeah, they're on the TV, and then she takes pictures of us on TV so she can prove that they watched us live. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah.
So what do you want to start with the quick homestead update? What we've been doing?
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks since we did one.
Oh yeah, then we definitely need to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead, tell them what you've been doing.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So we've been prepping for fall garden, getting everything in there. G built me some new beds. In fact, not to sound like I wasn't paying attention, but I walked out to check water and I found the new bed that you filled for me over here, but I still need dirt in it. So we'll take care of that. And so we'll be getting the rest of the fall garden in. It's been really hot here, and everything that we've been seeing and experiencing, we really think it's going to be a late winter. And only because of the experience that we had last winter here, we were literally sitting in shorts and t-shirts on Christmas Eve visiting with a neighbor. So
yeah, it was a little warm.
It was warm, and usually that is not the case here. So
well, I built those beds. I got four new beds ready for her, and they're up close to the house. So she doesn't have to go very far for herbs or whatever she puts in there. Got back on the garden 30 kick, and trying to attack the mess that the garden is. It's amazing. It's amazing how quickly the weeds pop up around here.
Right.
And I've been weeding other places and using that as fodder for the animals. I let them stay on a pasture too long, and they've eaten it down to almost the dirt. And unfortunately, the The standard is you let it sit for a year. We don't have time. We can't have that pasture out of action that long. So I've got to move them onto a new pasture for 3 or 4 weeks and figure out how to at least get some grass growing on that. Started cutting PVC pipe for new chicken tractors. If you want to see what the chicken tractor is basically going to look like, go over to Hacks for the Homesteaders YouTube and watch their videos, because I'm using the same design as theirs, only I'm using 2.5-inch PVC versus 4-inch PVC. So it'll be a little bit different. I'm going to have more supports in it, but the way it's built is exactly the same.
Yeah.
And then we did all that canning last week of the fish and stuff. How much fish did you end up putting up?
It was under 100 pounds, but I'm thinking it was easily 65 pounds.
So yeah, we've got lots of space in the freezer now. It's really kind of nice. And then freeze dryer should be back up and running. Finally,
we have to get the part first.
Well, it should be there. They emailed it to us. So what happened was
they mailed it to us.
They mailed it to us.
You can't email a product.
What happened was the shelving unit in the freeze dryer had gone bad, and it was getting so hot when it was drying, it actually melted the plastic on the shelving unit. And we went back and forth, and I'm probably gonna have to do a video on this. There's Rosie. Hi, Rosie.
Yeah, hi, Rosie.
We talked about you this weekend with Billy, but
now Rosie is good people, guys, and you can check her out. Rosie, why don't you post that where you've got your shorts and all that, where anybody can order some of that bakery goods that you do.
But anyway, on the freeze dryer, we sent the freeze dryer shelving unit in to be refurbished, and they emailed me back and said it's going to cost more to fix it than buy a new one. But the service guy was really nice, and he sold us a buyer's remorse return for $300. Isn't
it amazing how the buyer's remorse returns are coming up more and more?
Yeah.
Just saying.
I think people they're getting. I've seen two types of people with freeze dryers. Either they get it and they love it and they use it constantly, or they get it and they didn't realize what kind of work it was, because it is, as you know.
When I say I'm running that thing 24/7, basically what I'm saying is I'm working 24/7.
Yeah, and I'm maintaining it every 3 or 4 days because we're using it so much. But
that being said, guys, I also I'm using that tool as part of a business. So in a regular home, you may not use it that much. In fact, I was talking to another person. She was really great and sent me that banana video. So thank you. I really appreciate that, Rebecca. And I'll take a look at that as soon as this live is over. I'm going to take a look at that because I thought the banana trees, I was so confused. I'm like, what the heck is going on? They're leaning over this way and leaning over that way. Come to find out, that's exactly what I want them to do. So I don't know. Hopefully I did not lose bananas this year and we can recover back from that. So I'll watch that video, kind of figure that out. And, but anyway, she was telling me she's got a friend down in Texas, and I think I'm pretty sure it was Rebecca. We talked for a long time. And, but anyway, she had made the comment that a friend of hers down in, it was not Rebecca. It was the girl, and I can't remember her name, that had the tent next to Billy's, that did the leather and all of that.
What is her name?
Oh, yeah.
I actually have her business card
on either. Susan. Yeah. So Susan. So I was talking to her. She has a friend down in Texas, and she has 6 freeze dryers. And I was like, I would love to have that many freeze dryers. I would never have to stop. I could just keep on going. And then I did look over at G and I said, see, I told you I need more than one.
The maintenance on that would be a nightmare. Oh my gosh.
It would be great. It would be fine.
Let's see what else we got going on around the homestead. Just the maintenance. It's been so hot around here. Last Monday it was 90 degrees at 11 o'clock at night, and it was so humid. I didn't even go out there till 8, and I was still sweating like I was in a sauna. It was so bad. And it finally broke yesterday, and it was actually cool this morning, and it was really nice today.
It actually stayed pretty nice. I was actually able to open up a window, put the fan pointing out, close the door in the spare bedroom, and get some sanding done. So if you guys see that maybe I look a little pasty, it's because I have drywall dust all over me.
And she doesn't go outside that often.
It's not true. Oh, he totally threw me under the bus with Doug. I was so irritated over that. And then for some reason, he thought yesterday he could just pick on me all day. So
I did pick on you all day.
You did pick on me all day. Yes.
But you know something else. Here's one more thing about what's going on around the homestead, and then we'll give you guys our thoughts about the Homesteading Life conference we went to. The past 2 weeks, we have been. There's somebody that's local that is doing a potluck dinner, and they did an open invite to all the homesteaders and like-minded people in the area.
Kind of say open, but it was sent to a few people. If there's anybody that you had in mind that would be interested in that, then you sent that invitation out. There was no address given, that kind of thing as of yet. So you really needed to know these people, make sure that they were like-minded, that they have something to offer to the circle. And then if they, or community, not the circle, because these are many circles coming together.
Yeah.
And so that's how that works. So if you're local and you got an invitation, it really is kind of a big deal. I just need to know exactly who's coming, what's happening, so that I can send Anita the numbers of here's what to expect.
And Patty, I was not grumpy to her. She was grumpy to me. She started it at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Seriously, Patty was with me the entire time. And I truly believe that even Billy's niece looked at you and said, at one point, you were going to sleep in a doghouse if you didn't stop.
She was Kendra was cranky too.
Kendra was not cranky. We both knew what was going on.
Darren and I were the only ones that were happy all weekend long.
That also is not true. Not true.
But,
oh.
So you got anything else for the homestead? Animals, like she said, the animals survived. The dogs, I'm not lying.
He's a liar.
Darren, am I lying? The dogs were happy.
He's on the TV. He can't support you on this one.
but all the animals piled into the bed last night. Manny was the only one that didn't crawl into the bed.
Freya was all over me since last night. And it was really interesting. The kids came over and stopped over. We needed to pay them, and I missed their mom. And I said, well, why don't you guys just stop over? So we got them paid for what they did. And it was really funny because their daughter, Fee, was like, I'm really sorry, but Freya didn't eat. And then, Freya went over to Gizmo's bowl and ate everything that Gizmo had in the bowl. And then she said that Manny came in and Manny ate everything that was in Freya's bowl. And then she said, then Freya threw up. I think it was her because she stepped in something meaty. So she had to pick that up. And I told her, I said, take a deep breath. It's okay. Remember, I said, if I'm gone, because I nursed Freya for many months. I nursed her back to life. We thought we were going to lose her, 3 times?
Anybody that hasn't been around, hasn't been a viewer, she got really sick. And it happened right after the chicken coop fire, after we lost all those chicks.
It was just one. It was just a snowball. It was one thing right after the other.
Had it not been,
are not good with that.
Had it not been right after the chicken coop fire, we probably would have put her down. But she would not have been able to handle that emotionally. So we spent the money.
Oh, it looks like Darren is actually going to join us. He's getting on his phone. Oh, the men stick together. The women stick together. It just is what it is.
So we're keeping around because she's got to have puppies next year
to pay off her debt.
Yeah, to pay off her debt to us. So if you're local, there may be some border collie puppies available.
After that vet bill, I'll be willing to ship, I think. So.
Okay, well let's talk about what we did this weekend, because it was really cool.
Yeah. So
we went to Doug and Stacey's Homesteading Life conference in Hannibal, Missouri. It's a 2-day conference. They had it on Sunday and Monday.
Yep.
And they had a bunch of speakers come in, and unfortunately we don't have a brochure, so I can't tell you who all was there.
Oh, I do somewhere.
But Well, too late now.
No, well, I can go grab it.
Should have thought of that.
Let me go grab it because it's important. There were some important speakers on there
Yeah.
that I think, especially with the medicine and all that stuff. So let me go do that.
Oh, come on, Darren. Seriously?
Did Darren agree with me?
He said, I cannot lie. He is grumpy. Fine. I don't like any of you right now. But anyway, well, she's going and getting that. It was held in Hannibal, Missouri, Sunday and Monday, and which is really weird because most festivals go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the only thing we never did ask, and the only thing we can figure out is because it's a homesteading conference that they figure a lot of people are able to take off and come, because they're doing the homesteading, and they only sold 500 tickets. There were probably a little bit more there, that came along as tag-alongs to other people.
Some just wandered in.
Yeah, and there were some people who just wandered in, but
it's kind of like limbo over here.
She's got to get underneath the power cord for the laptop, but it was a really good conference. It's probably, in my opinion, the most underrated homesteading conference in the country.
Especially if you're wanting to learn how to homestead and you're just getting started. If you're advanced, you've been doing it for years, it's just kind of a refresher and a more of a connections type
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and just like the Self-Reliance Festival, I actually got more out of meeting people there than I did actually attending any of the things. I only attended 3 sessions this time. I went and saw Billy Bond and William from Permapastures. I saw their 2 courses, and then I watched the Ray, what's his name? Ray Tyler. Ray
Tyler was good. He started it actually.
Yeah, he was the very first one. He gave a talk on making $500,000 off an acre of land, right. And it was a really good speech, and he gave me a couple ideas.
It was literally just, here's how you do it. Here's what I did, and here's how you do it.
And he shared it, but I got some ideas and that I'm going to implement. I'm gonna have to do it next spring. Probably I can start right now, but it's not really gonna. There's unspecified V, but it's not gonna come into play until next spring, really. But
I'm not sure about that because I literally came home and one of the ideas that William actually gave me, we were sitting talking and just kind of swapping ideas on. I said, here's what I would need for sourdough making that. And
don't give it away.
I'm not. And I said, do you think you can do this? And he was like, oh, absolutely. And then so we're sitting there talking, and he's like, well, how do you make your salve and your stuff? And I kind of, and then he started giving me some ideas, and then we started talking about rooting, and we got another good idea, and then fertilizer. And I was like, oh, the fertilizer might have to wait till next year. And then when the neighbors came over, I was like, hey, so here's what I'm thinking. And come to find out, she's got the same bunching comfrey and a ton of babies all over the place that they're not using. And I get to dig and pick what I want.
Yes.
So we will have that product up and going, I'm hoping within 30, 45 days.
And going back to the conference, they had the main venue was the Old Star Theater in town Hannibal, which is if you've never been to Hannibal, Missouri, it's a really neat town. Birthplace of Mark Twain. No, Tiger, we are not in Missouri. We are actually across the border in Kansas now, in northeast Kansas. We were in up until 10 months ago.
Up until October 1st.
Up until October 1st.
September 28th. We were homeless for a couple days.
Yeah. We were in Pleasant Hill, Missouri, which is probably 35 minutes outside of Kansas City.
Yeah, and if you go back to some of our older videos, you'll see why we left and what happened. We had some choices that we needed to make, and a lot of those were on freedom. So we left.
Yep. So. But they had the main venue in the Star Theater, and then they had a tent out front, and then they had a tent out back which was a smaller tent.
The kids tent.
They call it the back 40, and then there was a kids tent. And that was one of the good things about the conference is they had activities all day long.
Those
both
kids
days.
were so busy. And then Doug, and it was funny because Garen was trying to give Doug a hard time. He was actually telling Stacey, he said, you need to make sure that you buy Doug that whole thing. So
they had an inflatable axe throwing thing,
right.
and one of it was like a bouncy house, except it had targets on it
And hammers that you could throw with Velcro.
and they had great big axes
Mhm.
with Velcro on the end of them, so the kids could throw them and stick them on the walls. And the kids, I don't think those things were empty at all either day.
In fact, a new friend that we met, and we're trying to get her, Patrice, to move out here where we're at. They're in Chicago right now. Their son was glued to that thing. And there's some special circumstances in there that you wouldn't think he would be. He absolutely was glued to it, which was great because it allowed her and her husband to attend some of the classes and get some ideas.
Well, and the whole Doug thing. So I was teasing him because he was over there with those kids all that.
Anytime he was free, he was over there.
If you're ever at a thing where they are, and you get a chance to watch him dealing with kids, Doug is like the Pied Piper when it comes to the kids.
He's like that grandpa that everybody wanted.
They followed him around, and
Yeah.
every time he came by, he was just surrounded by him. But he was having so much fun with him. I was like, you're going to make Stacey buy you one of those. And then I went over and was talking to Stacey, and I said the same thing
At the end, yeah.
And it turns out that they had seen that at another festival,
like down in Florida.
And Doug was like, we have to have one of those. So they actually purchased it specifically for the festival.
Purchased it in January is what she said, and they were a little nervous because they weren't sure it was going to be shipped in time.
Well, and it didn't arrive until 3 days before the festival, and Stacey said that Doug was a nervous wreck because he wasn't sure it was going to arrive, which I think if you ever
speaks volumes.
Yeah, if you ever meet him personally and thinking about him being a nervous wreck over that is funny as all get out. That is just hilarious. Yeah. But it they did a really good job with the kids. They had musical entertainment for them.
Oh, the music. We were even, so Kendra and I were sitting there sometimes, and Kendra was in charge because,
Kendra is Billy Bond's niece.
And she runs the booth a lot because, William and Billy have to run around and do that kind of stuff. And we were just amazed. It would be 8 o'clock in the morning, there's music going on. 12 o'clock in the afternoon, there's music going on. 4 o'clock. And Kendra and I just finally looked at each other after 2 days. We're like, how in the world are they still singing? And I mean, we're not talking, it was mundane trying to do. I mean, they were really upbeat, and even we were like shaking our feet and getting to the beat and like, holy smoke, that was great. Yeah.
So
that was really good.
They did that. So some of the speakers they had, let's see if we can see this.
You want to wear my glasses so you can see?
I've got my tortoise shell ones.
My other glasses.
So some of the speakers they had, of course, Doug and Stacey spoke. David the Good was there, and he was speaking about gardening. I don't know if you've ever seen his stuff.
You guys need to check it out.
He is really good. He's written some really good books. We had Maureen Diaz was talking about seeds. Terry Durham was talking about elderberry and natural medicines, and he's a very well-known author and YouTube person. Ray Tyler spoke about harvesting rainwater and making the money. Let's see, who are some of the other ones that people may know? Connie Jacoby spoke from North Carolina, spoke on a couple of things. What was it? On basically health, on physical health. Let's see, Wendell Mickinson spoke about minerals and human health and hydration. Jeremy Chambers was there giving a live demo from Anderson Acres, giving a live demo on butchering rabbits, and they had a really good setup.
And they were really cool people, I'm telling you. So even I want to say, I think it was their son. That was son. Okay. So he was actually American chinchilla rabbit.
Yep.
And so he was carrying it around and really trying to get everybody to pet it and touch it and all that. That was one of their breeders, not the one that they butchered. So he was trying to get a point across that it's very important that you can handle your breeders. And since we've done rabbits, in the past, I would definitely agree on that
Yeah,
one, because there's nothing worse than reaching in and being scratched up like there's no
having talked to them, I was very impressed
Mhm.
by the way they presented it.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Leo Sharskin, is that how you pronounce that?
I don't think so, but I can't pronounce it either. But he is great with beekeeping.
Yes, natural beekeeping,
Mhm.
and he did a great presentation.
Yeah.
Everybody, and of course, our good friends Billy and William Bond from Permanent Pasture Farms gave speeches. They did they did a speech on swells and a talk on the chicken tractor on steroids, which is something phenomenal, and we're gonna that keeps blowing. We're gonna start using it. So that was some of the people that were there, and
there's one that I really want you guys to know, Maureen Diaz, and that is Maureen, Maureen, and then Diaz, Diaz. And I'm trying to remember. I know I picked up. Oh, it may be in the backpack. Gosh darn it. We'll link it back here. But she has some amazing books, and I put almost all of my raffle tickets in for her book and membership so that you can get the seminars and the teaching and all of that. And I didn't even win, but that's kind of the way God works, right? So the people that needed it and got it, they can do that. And I'll figure out another way.
Rosie, you and Tessa, you both got a shout out from Billy about your participation in the swell class. So so that was a good kudos on you. You guys really helped out. Yes. And then they had vendors there, and let me see if we got here some of the vendors and unfortunately I feel so terrible that I didn't get cards from everybody. There was just so
it was
much
hard.
going on.
There's a lot of people and a lot of stuff going on.
They had some people called the Bee Butler, and
they've got a cool
custom made boxes that you use for uncapping your.
No, you have to uncap it, but it.
Well, you uncap it in these boxes, but they're the Bee Butler thing in this, and I'll put a link.
It's a strainer. Anybody that has seen these before and grows bees, you do still have to uncap them. However you choose to do that, with a comb, knife, however you want to do it. And then it fits all of the frames inside. And so you can go ahead and pull those. And then there is a strainer that's automatically put in. So it takes all of your good honey, lets it go down to the bottom. And then any of the dirty, is stuck up at the top. And there's a valve down at the bottom that you can pour your honey out.
You were not.
Did you see it differently than I did?
You were not paying attention because I talked to her. And
oh, you must have talked to her separate than me.
Anyway, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to put a link to everybody we got links for down in the description.
Hey, Lucy.
And you guys go out and check these out, because these Bee Butler, and you could use them like what she said, but that's not specifically what they're made for. But they are really cool
and not expensive. It was $199 for it. Now, I honestly, if you were at the festival, there were a lot of people that had better deals because you were there versus what they do on their websites. But we will link all the websites so that you guys can get there and see what they've got going on. Are you going to thumb through this? Because I have a really cool product.
Go ahead. Talk about it.
All right. So there was a company that was there. And of course, the sign that caught my attention wasn't just the canning portion, but the sign that caught my attention was win 2,000 canning lids.
Oh, yes.
And it was like, oh, I'm there. And so I ran over. Their shipment was late, so I couldn't really see the product. They didn't have it there. But we just talked a little bit. I went ahead and entered. Well, then the product came in. And I was like, the sun glistened, the clouds went away, and all I could hear was, oh, and it was time to head over there.
Folks, this is what I have to deal with.
So I ran as quickly as I could. Like, I got to check that out. So I want to show you something. This is 4 jars. And let's see if I can get that. Yeah, this way. So this is 4 jars, canning lids, and a box of 100. Now, it does not include the rings. These are just the flats. They do wide mouth. They also do regular mouth, right? And so you get 100, and you'll have to go to their website. We'll try to link that down. I think it's 4jars.com. Hang on a minute. You can also get them on Facebook, Instagram, and all of that. It was right here. So you can go at 4Jars USA and find them. And I don't know what that one is, but
I'll put the
YouTube,
links.
Facebook, all of that. And then another one, I think that's the whatever that code is. We're dinosaurs, guys. We don't know. 4jars.shop. And so this is a USA company. However, we had a conversation because I wanted to know, even though the boxes said USA and located in the United States, where are those lids coming from? He knew exactly what I was talking about. And he said, right now they are made in China. And I got that look on my face, and he went, hang on a minute. We are moving manufacturing to the United States. They are trying to get it here by the end of the year, if not by the end of next year. So the manufacturing, these lids will be in the United States, but it gets even cooler than that. So they had a canner there, and oh yeah. Well, let me finish this and then I'll get over there to that story. So when our neighbors came over, and I wanted to show her the lids that I found. So this is the 4Jars. This is the 4Jars canning lid. Now let me show you a difference. See if I can really bring that in. See that rim? See how thick that lid is? This was amazing. Now I want to show you, and hopefully you can pick up the sound. So there's the sound, and this is 4Jars. Now, I have a ball canning lid. This is the ball canning lid. Already you can see a difference. Let me show the inside of that one. It's not as wide, right? That rubber is not as wide. And get this, it's also not as thick, right? And then let me show you the sound on this one. The kids actually picked this up. That is very, very thin. So I said, okay. I said, so you've got those are thicker. Now here's what I want to know. And I was talking to the guy, from 4Jars. And I said, here's what I want to know. How many times can I use that lid? What's going to happen? Is it reusable and all that? And he just got this look on his face. And I said, I want to know, how many times can I reuse that lid? And he kind of looked at me and he goes, we only guarantee one use. And I said, that's fine. How many times can I use it? And he looked over at the girl that was sitting next to him. And he goes, that's her. So make, MakeItMake. She is on YouTube. I recommend you subscribe to her channel. I checked it out a little bit. We are so like-minded.
Tiger said that she just got the lid 4Jars lids today.
Oh, you're going to love them. You are absolutely going to love them. And so they had a special for us. They had the wide mouth, it was 100. And then they had the regular mouth, it was 100. And because we were there at the festival, we got both on a special for $55. So I was really happy about that. But it gets even better. I was talking to Make It Make. I told her I would not give her name out. We're hoping to do some, and what did you call heritage canning?
Yes, it is no longer called Rebel Canning. We will no longer use that term. Mm-hmm. It is now heritage canning, mm-hmm. because it's the way
it used to be
done. It is the heritage method
mm-hmm.
of canning.
Yes.
Before there were pressure cookers, mm-hmm. and before all the modern conveniences.
Mm-hmm. So. Yes. So we are thinking we're going to go ahead and we're going to she agreed to it. So we are going to do it. I'm going to get with her, send her my information. I have hers, but she needs mine. You get so busy as a vendor, you really need to be willing to give your information out so that everybody else can get back to you. So I'm going to get back to her and then let her know, okay, we're ready. What do we want to do? And we may do something kind of crazy. But when you go out there and you look at her videos, she's already done it. Now, she grew up in Pennsylvania, and so she was raised around a lot of Amish and a lot of the Mennonites. And so she's got a lot of good information. I loved it. We were kind of checking each other out, just, you know what I mean? Not checking each other out.
Nope, there's Mrs. Ghetto.
Hey, Mrs. Ghetto. But we were kind of checking each other out. And I asked her, I said, okay, you got this YouTube channel and you've got, all these followers and you're doing this, you're doing that. So here's what I want to know. How many classes, what are you teaching on your video? How much do you do on, and I called it advanced canning. And she kind of stepped back for a minute and she kind of looked at me and she goes, what do you mean by advanced canning? Now, anybody who does what we're calling now heritage canning, the old fashioned way, we both know somebody's getting ready to jump down your throat, right? And so I looked at her and I go, rebel canning, thinking that that would keep her from yelling at me. And both of us just kind of relaxed because I saw her shoulders go down and she relaxed. And so then I relaxed a little bit and she goes, okay, now we can talk. So I think we're either going to make it a collab or maybe we'll try to do canning night, canning afternoon.
At the very least, we need to get her on camera and interview her.
Yeah. But so we're a lot like-minded in that canning. So she was raised that way and around that, and I got to be around that. And so we both know, and we're not going to call it rebel canning anymore. We're not going to call it the old-fashioned way anymore. We're calling it heritage canning.
Yep.
So get rebel out of your mind, get out of your mind, and heritage canning, because this is what's going to end up saving your life. And if you have a negative comment on that and you're going to tell me, oh no, USDA, I'm just going to tell you, then
I don't think anybody in our chat would do that.
I don't know. You never know. But if you're going to do that, because other people are going to watch this later, feel free to unsubscribe. I don't care. I'm just going to teach you how to fill your pantry and save your family.
And talking about filming, I actually got filmed this time. And I got about halfway through the second day and I was like, I'm tired of this. I'm just going to do a live. I got some decent footage this time, way better than at the Self-Reliance Festival. But let's go back. Let's talk about some more of the vendors that were there, because there are some really neat people there. The Susan that was next to us, she had a shop called Worn and Wear.
Hang on. Good job, Tiger. So Tiger 454, I do heritage dehydrating too.
There you go.
Yeah. And those will go hand in hand with the heritage canning too.
But she had a tent right next to Billy and William and Kendra. And it was probably one of the neatest ideas I'd ever seen.
Don't give the idea away, but
she was making leather earrings, used leather earrings. She was buying old leather goods and she was making these beautiful. They look like feathers. They were about that long, and they look like feather earrings. And
he didn't buy me any though.
You could have bought your own.
I was all over the place.
But she said she ran across leather goods that she could not cut up because they were in really good shape or they were just too beautiful. So she started saving them. And then her and her friend were thrifting, and they started buying old used cowboy boots and old used leather fashion boots and reselling them. And you would be amazed at how many people were walking around with cowboy boots by the end of the festival.
Yeah, it was
beautiful. In fact, she was only there one day.
Yeah, one day, because she wanted to make sure that she could hit the festival the second day.
Yeah.
Because it was just so hot, guys, on Saturday. We were dripping. Well, you saw the short that we put on. We were dripping in sweat.
And then there was a vendor, and I can't remember the name of the vendor that had the trees.
Oh, I do. So that is actually Spark Bros. And so you're talking about them or the elderberry?
The people that donated the trees.
Spark Bros. So Spark Bros, I went over and I talked to Katie. Well, Billy approached Katie first. I think then you approached Katie. And
I just talked to him.
Okay. And Katie, they're in charge of the marketing and all of that stuff. So got to talking with them. I ended up with a grapefruit tree. Billy ended up with a Chicago fig. And so then Billy actually secured something else. We'll leave him to do that information. We don't need to do that. But
no, I'm dropping it.
No, you can't drop it. No, because you don't. No, you're not.
I'm dropping it.
No,
if he hasn't posted it already,
they had a longer drive than we did, so leave it alone.
No, they're still on the road. That's
so
right.
Yeah. So I've got that grapefruit, and one of the deals I told Katie, I said, okay. So I was asking her, I said, how's this going to work in the greenhouse? Do I need to pull it in the house? Do I need to transplant and all that? And she literally said, we're a brand new company. I really don't know. And I said, okay, how about this? Let me take the grapefruit tree. I'll go ahead and take this one. I will make sure that we put the results of everything. I'll email with you, call you, let you know, update you on everything that happens. And I want to take this up to Northeast Kansas, and I want to see if I can make this grapefruit tree work. And we're not talking a little tree. It's got to be, 4 feet, 5 feet high?
Yeah. I don't know how we got it home without killing it.
We were laying it between Patty and I. So we got it back. And that's another thing. we got it without killing it. It's still green and vibrant.
Yep.
The day I got it, you don't even get those results in shipping. So I was amazed with that already. So there's the first update. They weren't really selling anything. I think a lot of people went, but I will keep an update on that and show you guys the grapefruit tree. I think right now I'm just going to go ahead. We've got winter coming upon us soon. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and start transplanting that, just so that I have the option to pull it in the house just in case.
Right.
Nothing can be harmed from it. So,
and then David the Good was there selling his books, and there are a lot of people that picked up his books, which were really good gardening books. And he was talking with Billy, and he's got another book coming out soon, which was exciting. And then Patrick from MT Knives was there. Patrick makes custom knives, and how do I put it? Okay, there's a skill at making knives, but there's a point in knife making where it stops being a skill and it becomes a work of art. And he has passed that skill point, and he's got these little neck hanger knives. And if you were at the Self-Reliant Festival,
you probably walked away.
In fact, if Rosie, if you're still in the chat, you can attest to this. He makes some really high quality knives, and so he was there, and he had his entire clan was there.
The thing I just say is, so Starla Doak, I did not know this. She is Mennonite. She grew up in the faith and the lifestyle. And Lucy Bourne says, I'm going to do all my food the heritage way. To me, it's the normal way.
Amen, Lucy. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. So, but he had his entire clan there, and it was really fun because they've got quite a few kids. In fact, he's got
10.
He's got a starting lineup and a relief pitcher.
Yeah. And if you look at them, their oldest look like they're maybe 12, 14 at the oldest.
Great kids, all homeschooled, fantastic. And if you ever run into him, he's honestly, he is the nicest guy, and he loves talking about knife making and sharpening knives and stuff. And
the kids are great. They're well behaved and very talkative.
See, Rosie uses hers every single day. Yeah. Has it gone dull yet, Rosie? And he uses really good quality steel too.
And he had the sharpener right there. And so they're not too far from our son. And we got to talking afterwards as everybody was, we were actually the last ones to leave. But there were some other
vendors there. There's one next on the other side of Billy and William and Kendra that had like handmade craft stuff that was really good. Yeah. And I feel bad because I didn't get them all. But and we met all them, but more importantly, at least from where I'm sitting, we made some really good contacts.
Yeah. Let's go back to Stark Bros real quick. I just want the tree people. I just want to share this with you real quick.
Rosie cut herself with the knife.
Oh yeah, easy to do. So Stark Bros say, and growing legacy since 1816. So maybe it was the Katie and them were new to it. So they were still learning. Louisiana, Missouri still homes Stark Bros today. Now, we're proud to offer fruit trees, nut trees, berry plants, hops, grapevines, perennial vegetables, onions, garlic, seed potatoes, shade trees, citrus trees, flowering shrubs, ornamental trees, tools, fertilizers, and supplies. Now, I'm going to share something with you guys. We're not making money off of this. I'm just so impressed by what they did and how they did it and the deal that we made. I'm going to give you their coupon code. So you can shop anytime at www.stark, STARK, bros.com. And I'm going to give you a 10% off coupon code of any purchase of $50 or more. The coupon code, and G will type it down below when we get off, is capital H, capital L, capital C. Wonder what that stands for. And then 0822. So make sure that you use that. Go in, guys. I'm telling you, they're like-minded. You can't lose anything from that.
So we met all these great vendors, and they were all personable, but we also made a lot of contacts. So I'm in the process of starting eventually, after having my design license or my design certification for going on 7 years now. I'm finally going to start doing permaculture consults.
No, it's longer than that. You got that when we were in. No, we were still in the suburbs.
I got it in 2015.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm going to start doing that. And William has so many people coming to him, and he's newly married. And so
and they're working on 15 kids.
Well, that's what Emily wants. William, but,
he wants a basketball
William
team.
can't do all these consults that people want. So he was like, hey, I got somebody in the Midwest that's closer to you. So I had 4 people that said they wanted consults. And out of those 4, 2 of them I think are really serious. The other 2, one of them said that we can wait till next year. And the third one I've got to talk to.
And the 5th one, we are bartering out some information, I think. So
Yeah.
we're going to try to get our website put together, and he will actually be at the camp out October 1st and 2nd.
Yes.
And so he's working on some stuff for us. So we'll have Grumpy Acres website set up here pretty soon. Okay. So Starla, that is the SOE conference.
Self-Reliant.
Our Self-Reliant Festival. We will not be there. We have a conflict, so we're going to have to do something else.
Well, and that's something we're going to talk about, the conflict, because it's a very interesting topic. Okay. But so I met these people that potentially going to give us another
Tennessee,
revenue,
Starla.
Another revenue stream.
Camdenton, Tennessee.
And then we met people. I just dropped it. Patrick and Cindy from Madison, Kansas. They were attending. They've got a YouTube channel, and I'll put their link down below. They're very like-minded, and they do festivals like Doug and Stacey. In fact, well, let's talk about the festivals right now. Okay, let's talk about it. So we have our Midwest Preparedness Festival, October 1st and 2nd. And that very same weekend, the Self-Reliant Festival down in Camden, Tennessee at SOE compound is happening. And Billy Bond and William are going to be there doing the second part of their swell class, which is going to be really cool. If you didn't attend the swell class at the end of July, if you can go to it, you're going to be able to see that. And then on the same weekend, on October 1st, it's October 1st because it's just one day, Patrick and Cindy are doing something down at Fort Scott, Kansas.
And it's
a prepper expo.
Ozarks.
No, they're also helping put together the Ozark Preparedness Festival in Marshfield.
Marshfield.
In Marshfield, Missouri, which is down by Springfield, and that's in 2 weeks from here. And we're seriously thinking about trying to get down there and check it out.
I don't know.
See all these other ones, and that's something we were talking about there at the festival with Billy and Darren and us and Patty, and then we were talking about it on the way home. We as we go to these festivals and we find out about them, we need to start telling people about them and promoting these festivals.
Yes.
Because you've got the Homesteaders of America Festival, which can be quite pricey, and there's 10,000 people at they said they were expecting 5,000 this year.
Something like that. It's like 500.
I mean, it's a huge event.
Yeah.
It's the premier homesteading festival in the country. But these smaller festivals are popping up because there's more interest in it now, and people are starting to see a need for them. So, we just by happen chance, we had these 3 festivals all in conflict, and they're all within an area that people could actually go to.
Yeah.
So we need to start sharing this information, and we've got friends that are putting together a website, and I'm going to talk to them and maybe have them,
do a community calendar.
Suggest to them a community calendar that people can post information on, so that as organizers can look at it and not do conflicts.
Perhaps like next year, instead of doing October 1st and 2nd, we could do September, whatever, or late October, whatever.
Because I'll be honest with you, I'd go to that Self-Reliant Festival every chance I could. They have it 3-4 times a year. I think they have one every quarter. It's one of the best ones I've ever been to. And these new ones that are popping up. And look.
Now that being said, let me say this real quick. That being said, and I don't think anybody that's in here now watching is going to do this, but just in case, how social media is and things get out there. Let me make one thing very clear. It is not cool to show up at another festival and steal the entire program and turn that around and make it into some kind of money making market. That is not what this is about.
Or bad mouthing the
host.
Bad mouthing the host.
How about that?
If it's a good festival, you should not go to it and bad mouth the host.
Right. And yeah, good enough for you to steal the ideas and then make that your program. So keep that in thought.
We were privy to a little inside baseball information that just really kind of
sits wrong.
Yeah, it sits wrong, you know, and it's and unfortunately that's just life. I mean, you're always going to deal with people like that. Yeah. But you know, and that was another thing about this festival. Now the Self-Reliant Festival is more of a prepper festival, and it's more geared towards preppers. And this was a homesteading festival, and it was two completely different crowds that were there. At least from Darren and I talking about it, and Billy and William, you know, it was two different crowds. And the thing that we saw that I found very interesting.
Hey, Cindy.
Was that at the Self-Reliant Festival, there were a lot of brand new preppers, people whose eyes had just been opened up, and they realized they were behind the power curve. And you heard a lot of, I'm really concerned, and I'm going to use the word fear in it, and that's probably a little too harsh. But there was a lot of fear in the conversation. You know, they're like, I'm behind the 8 ball, and you know, what do we got to do? How quick? You know,
I think I would use the word concern.
Okay, concern's a better one. This festival, it was mostly homesteaders. There were quite a few brand new ones,
and the same conversations.
Well, but it was more. It was a more full tone though. And I'm not saying that one's better than the other, because I think the people at Self-Reliant Festival were absolutely 100% correct in their concern.
Yeah, so it was really interesting because we were at the hotel we were at, we were having breakfast, and it was on Monday morning, and I started listening to some conversations. I got there before G and Patty and Darren, and you know, I never miss a moment. So I'm sitting there at breakfast, and I start
She was blackpilling people at Days Inn.
That is not true. And so I started listening to this couple talk, and they started talking about chickens and how it was recommended that they, you know, start small. You know, small to a homesteader is very different than small to somebody just starting out. So, you know, and it was funny because William and I had this conversation, and he even said the same thing. He started laughing when I told him the number, not making fun of them. But we were like, well, man, when you're doing permaculture and you're homesteading, small means 50. A flock.
One
is
flock.
A flock, you know, right? So 32 hens and 1 rooster. So it's a flock. And so that's what we mean by starting small. And they were talking about 6 chickens, and they were only hens. There's no rooster involved. And I said, well, hang on a minute. I said, can I interrupt here? And they were like, yeah, sure. You know, and so I started talking to him, and I said, I'm not trying to fear monger you or anything like that. I said, but 6 chickens are not going to make you 4 years. And I said, you know, I've talked to people from all over the world. I, you know, talked to Australia. And so Australia is expecting to have 0 chickens available to purchase, 0 eggs available to purchase within 12 months. And we seem to be about 12 months or so, or 2 years or so behind them. So he said, I really suggest if you're planning for the next 4 years, you need to think about a flock. Well, then all of a sudden that brought somebody else in the breakfast room into the conversation. And then there was a trucker that was there. And it was really funny because I ended up with his son's card, and he drives for a fleet. And he's like, man, you know, you got to check this out, and was talking about that. And everybody was engaged in the conversation, and everybody had hope for the other person and trying to drive everybody. And by the end, we're all looking at our clocks and we're, well, we got to get to Doug and Stacey. And so we're all running out, you know, trying to get there on time. But these are really good for those conversations.
Well, and I think the point I was trying to get to was, you know, Bobby and I did that video about how homesteading is the ultimate evolution of prepping, and seeing the difference between the conversations that went on at the different festivals, I think it puts proof to that idea, because you're new, your eyes are just waking up or just opening up, and it's not that the world is getting darker. Like I posted that community post, the world isn't getting darker. You're just seeing it more clearly.
Right.
And and from that concern, you learn these skills and you make these changes, and you evolve into a prepsteader and a homesteader, and that concern is replaced with hope.
You know, the other thing, and so Amber and I were talking about this today, and so, you know, one of the other things too, it's not just the prepping side and it's not just the homesteading, but what we're also seeing is there's a lot of people trying to get back to God, and not this God that was invented in this New Age church and this New Age church and all of that. They're trying to get back to the roots of Christianity. And so it's interesting because these three always seem to overlap. They really do. And so, you know, and when she said that, I went, oh, yeah, you're right. And so, and that's the other thing we were talking. Hey, Patty, I was telling her even about the conversation that we had yesterday about, so Patty, I hope this is okay, but Patty and Darren are different religion than Garen and I. And so if you're not open-minded, you're never going to learn about another religion. And, you know, we have friends that are Jewish. We have friends that are Seventh-day Adventist. We have friends that are Southern Baptist. We have friends that are Catholic, etc. And so if you're not open-minded about that, you're never going to learn. So I learned some stuff. And in fact, I even said something because somebody was very kind of standoffish when we were talking about market on Saturday. And, you know, didn't just really give me a straight answer. And as we were having another conversation, I was like, why, you know, and she said, no, she said, you know, remember Jesus turning over the tables in the temple and all of this stuff. And I was like, yeah, I remember that. Well, so the interpretation is different for every single religion, right? And so then she started explaining to me, and I said, don't ever stop, you know, always tell me the truth. I am not that person that's just going to get angry. You are absolutely wrong and you cannot believe the way you want to. You have to believe my way. No, that is not what we're about. So if you're going to be narrow-minded and you don't want to have that conversation, then don't ask somebody about, you know, their religion and why they believe, right? Just leave it alone.
Well, you got deep there.
You know what?
Why'd you take it so deep?
Because not only did one friend say it, but another friend said it. And they both told me about how when they're honest, if somebody asks, they are attacked. And so I don't play that.
Well, and that goes back to what Tag says in our freedom videos. You know, that a Christian is open-minded and tolerant.
Yes.
You know, and you know, and that was one of the cool things. There was a whole host of different discussions that went on, and we're running over an hour now. We need to start thinking about wrapping this up. But I want to talk about one last thing, and personally for us, it was probably the most beneficial thing. Is we walked away with so many ideas on how to create and take advantage of alternate revenue streams. Now,
yeah, let me say this. Lucy, you're right. Grandma called Homesteading Tuesday.
Yep, that's what we say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we take a page out of Bobby Spagg's book. We are unapologetically capitalist. The only reason why I have a 9-to-5 job during the week is because the money that generates is more than I can generate off of the homestead. And that money helps me do what I want to do to be free right now. You know, and working for somebody else, even though I don't have to, is a trade-off that I'm willing to make right now.
So that we can work for
so
ourselves.
we are moving forward and towards generating these alternative revenue streams. And as a result, Angela was talking about earlier, we met a young kid who's an IT guy, and we're talking about bartering some goats with them, and he's getting the cost of a new website for us, a storefront and a community page and a way for people to schedule consultations with me. Talking with Billy and William and other vendors, we got some really good ideas on what we could do, what we could generate off of our homestead.
Yeah, hang on really a second. We want to make something very clear. We are still here to share.
Well, I was going
Were you okay? You
Yes,
didn't do it fast enough. I got
you.
impatient. Sorry. So, but we will always drive you to the website. You choose how you want to do that.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to make very clear. Okay. Is we're going to start doing these alternative revenue streams. We don't ever, if it ever seems like we're just trying to make a buck off of our subscribers and the people watching our videos,
then you let us know, because we have a change to make. Hold us accountable.
You need to call us out. You need to let us know. If we're doing it right, you should you'll hear us talk about new products because we're excited about them, but we'll never be hawking them in your face on our videos. And I'm going to say this, there are YouTube creators out there whose sole purpose is to hawk their products and make money off of you. And they do it under the guise of homesteading or
Abundance Plus
or prepping.
Mm-hmm.
No, that wasn't.
Oh, no. I'm going to call it like I see it.
Yeah, there's things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But don't, if we ever do anything like that, hold us accountable, please. We do not want to be those people.
Absolutely.
You know? But we've got, seriously, folks, we got some really cool ideas, and we got some stuff that I think you guys will be excited when they come out.
And
I'm gonna say the t-shirt shop is gonna be up and running in the next couple of days, and we got some really neat
T-Paul, you have no idea. And so when you said that about the tomato fairies, and so we had a tomato fairy at G went in and did that short, and your comment when the kids were over here today, there was a whole thing about that. So there were so many tomatoes, and Fee really felt that all of the tomatoes needed to be separated and each one needed to be in its own bowl. Well, Key, I'm going to keep their names short so you don't know, but Key, he had all the tomatoes in the basket. He had the larger ones down at the bottom, and then they went smaller and all of this. And then he put them around the basket to make them look that way. And there was a lot of thought that went into it. So Fee started to take some of the tomatoes out and put them in bowls. And Key sat there and literally started crying. He only had 4 very small tomatoes left, and all he wanted was to get those on that basket and in that arrangement so that we would be surprised when we came in.
So we do have mater fairies.
We got mater fairies.
We got mater fairies, and we had a whole discussion about what a mater fairy looks like.
Right, the kids have figured that out, and so
if I can find an artist
that's willing to put it together
that can draw it for us, and we're going to compensate them. But if we can find an artist to draw a mater fairy, your mater fairy idea is going on a t-shirt.
I mean, I think
you will be the very first person that gets one. We will send you one as an appreciation.
And T-Paul, it went as far as the big So Key literally put the great big huge beefsteak up to his face, and he's like, "This is my favorite one." And so then it came out. It should be the beefsteak tomato, the great big huge one with suspenders, and then there should be a face. And then what was it? The yellow.
Don't tell them what it's gonna look like.
Well, if you want to find an artist, if somebody knows someone,
but don't give it away.
The kids imagined it, and Garen's imagination, and so it's complicated. Make sure it's a good artist.
Folks, you know what? I don't get surprised on Christmas morning because somebody, or my birthday, because somebody can't keep a secret whenever she's got it. Oh, see, Amber's on there. Oh, Amber says she's going to draw the mater fairy tonight.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, that may become our second unofficial mascot behind Baby the Goat.
Right. And we have to get a new sign.
But yeah, so it was fun. It was a fun conversation. But yeah, so yeah, we got some really cool stuff happening. Yeah. And honestly, folks, my goal is within the next 12 to 24 months to be able to not work off the homestead as by my decision and not the world at large decision.
Right. But just be able to kind of make it work here. Yeah. And so we've got a lot of great ideas. We got some good stuff coming out. I'm really excited about the rooting tea, super excited about the fertilizing tea. And we're going to test that out. I was actually talking to Amber about that. And so we're going to figure out some barter in there and all of that. So.
Another cool thing that happened. Another cool thing that happened. Angela met somebody and she gave them a contact information about rabbits.
Oh yeah.
And then her husband.
No, that was not there. I met her at Tractor Supply.
No. She met her like off the homestead and stuff.
Yeah, like maybe a month ago.
Not through YouTube or anything. She just met her but her husband started watching our videos.
Mhm.
And he contacted us today, and he wants to buy cuttings from several of our fruit trees.
Mhm.
So we are actually going to have our first sale of cuttings off the fruit trees, which is where I'm sitting, is really exciting.
And Scott, don't tell anybody what that price is, because we're gonna get all of that stuff figured out. And because you're local, we don't have to ship and all of that. I was
If
just
you
trying.
watch us.
Yeah,
If you watch us.
I was just trying to throw some stuff out there and be cool to a neighbor once we, kind of, here's where we're at, that kind of thing. So
I love the fact that where we live, a neighbor is 10 miles away.
Right.
I love that. The neighbor's not across the sidewalk from us. It's,
Right.
they're 10 miles away.
It's kind of the way it works in the country, which
Yeah.
is why I don't sleep at the first night at the hotel. I have to be
Okay.
sleep deprived.
Okay, folks, listen. We really appreciate everybody that showed up.
Yeah. So here's what we'll do. We see a lot of comments in there, but we've been over. And so this is really what we had to put out. If anybody has questions in there, anything like that, I see you guys talking back and forth. We're going to go ahead and allow you to do that. And then, but let's see if anybody has any questions. But for now, we'll call the actual video.
Yeah, put comments down below. Sure, do all that stuff. I'm gonna put a poll up on the community page. So there's been some discussion amongst our circle that we should be probably doing a live once a week or once every other week. And I'm not sure if we don't have a big following, and if it becomes too much of a chore, we don't want to put people off by doing it. So
talking for me is never a chore.
I want to put a poll out there on if you think we should do a weekly or a bi-weekly thing. What would be the best thing to do?
Sure.
I mean, we're going to do regular live streams. Just right now, they're not on a regular schedule. And if we put it on a regular schedule, we would like to know what works best for y'all. Okay.
And what is the best day to reach everybody?
Right.
Obviously not Wednesday night, because people church.
For us, it turns out that Tuesday at this time is probably the best time.
Yeah, with more notice that we're going
more.
on.
Oh, definitely more notice, because we're not, as far as we know, we're not competing with anybody that has a similar channel or that we don't want to compete with. So
Right.
So I'm going to do that. So if you guys get a chance, go vote in that. I'll put that up either tomorrow or Thursday. We've got some really cool videos coming out. Tag and I are going to do the next installment of the Freedom video.
28 Principles of Freedom.
Yeah, the 28 Principles of Freedom. Angela's got some more canning videos.
Yeah.
And
sourdough bread.
Sourdough bread. She got a good sourdough bread.
We're going to try something unusual. And so that's what I was telling you on oh my gosh, and on Maureen. So Maureen and I actually got to talking, and that's why I'm saying check out hers. I came up with an idea for a starter dough on sour bread that I really, really wanted to try. And I ran it by her. I said, what do you think? And she goes, well, if you do it all with this product, it's probably not going to rise. And I said, so do you think and she didn't give me any of the answers. So you have to think. And so I said, okay, so if I put this with this grain and use this as a substitute, for the other half, what do you think? She goes, I think that would work.
Okay,
so we're gonna try that.
So we've been saying goodbye. We've been saying goodbye for 5 minutes. I'm gonna finish with one last story in regards to that. So the festival was over at 5:30 yesterday, and at 8 o'clock in the evening.
Was it 8? I think it was later than that.
I went over. Everybody was standing around talking. I went over to Patty and Darren, and I was like, man, it's late. I am ready to go home. And they looked at me and literally said, well, we were waiting for you to stop talking. And I was like, I've been over there waiting for you guys to stop talking because you guys have been talking.
That's not true. Patty was leaning against the car.
And
I was literally sitting in the ghetto. I was literally sitting in the gutter. And I know people were staring at me because I had my hands around my knees and I was holding myself back with my eyes shut, trying not to fall over.
At 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock, everybody was talking.
Yeah.
Because I looked around and
it's the only way I could stay awake.
I finally went over and Billy was talking to Doug. I went over there to shake their hands. I was like, listen, guys, it's 8 o'clock. We got a long drive. I'm going to come over. I'm going to say goodbye. And I'm going to go sit in that car to prove a point that I am ready to go home. And they busted up laughing. I shook their hands. I went over, shook some more hands. And I went and sat in the car. And we were out of there within 10 minutes.
Was it 10 minutes? Are you
And
sure about that?
me sitting in the car wasn't what got everybody in the car, but I was just making a point. I was tired. We didn't get home till late, and it was a rough day at work today.
I'm ready for bed now.
I enjoyed the day.
Mhm.
I enjoyed the conference. I enjoyed the company. Patty and Darren are really good friends. Billy
Yeah.
and William have become great friends, and we cannot wait to meet Michelle. Kendra's awesome, and she's.
Hey, RN, just check us out from the beginning. We'll keep it up. We'll keep that.
Yeah,
streaming.
I'm gonna post it. It's gonna post live
Yeah.
with the live chat stream, so you'll be able to see it.
Mhm.
And go make comments, folks. Most importantly, when you wake up tomorrow, what should they go do?
Oh, I'm so tired, babe. Go live a life done free.
Yes.
Okay.
She said that like it was a question. Can you believe that?
Well, I gotta go sand tomorrow. I gotta make sure I get enough
Okay,
sleep.
folks.
And go sand.
Listen, we love you. Take care.
Bye. That wasn't too bad.